Welcome to Professor Sky's Spam channel. Now, I've done a couple movie reviews in the last couple days in my Under the Porch movie series. I don't know if I'm going to call it that. And I've been pretty harsh on Ghostbusters 2021, even though I like the source material quite a bit. I find the source material of Ghostbusters to be a great plan. I actually enjoyed the 2016 movie and the original sequel in 1988, but I didn't like the movie. Then we get to House of Gucci, which I found to be very... Sorry, it's too cold. I have to put my hat on. Which I found to be a very interesting idea. The story itself, the real-life story, was wonderful, but the actual execution of the movie was terrible. So what do we do with Spencer? The movie based, apparently, on the life of Princess Di, Princess of Wales, Diana Spencer, where I don't care about the source material. I am an anti-royalist. Like, seriously, I hate the royal family. I hate people talking about it. It makes me angry as somebody who believes in Republican values. Not Republican like, you know, Mitt Romney and Donald Trump. I mean Republican as in, you know, vote, democracy, stuff like that. So I really dislike the royal family. I never particularly cared about Princess Di. I actually really like Christopher Hitchens' sort of heretical documentary about Princess Di. So I am not your Princess Di fan going into this movie. Unlike Ghostbusters and House of Gucci, I was ready to dislike this movie. It was great. It's one of the best movies I've seen all year, which I think is a testament to the fact that it's really good when I personally, actively uncare about Princess Di. It is crazy how much I dislike thinking about Lady Di. It's funny because I got upset with House of Gucci for its lack of, its sort of fake multiculturalism, and I got mad at Ghostbusters for its fake diversity. But this movie, Spencer, is oddly international. It's a Chilean director, a German production of an American actress playing a British princess. And what makes it so good is it's very well directed. You know, it's got very, very central images, you know, like very well composed images using the apparently Brandenburg, Germany is where it's filmed, but you know, uses it feels very much like you're in a very set place. There's kind of a weird gauze over the entire thing, kind of like the gauze of snow behind me, which makes it feel sort of very filmic, you know, it feels like you're watching a film, you feel the grain. I love biopics like this. Biopics or biopics? Tell me in the comments. Is it bio-pics or biopics? I say biopics. Biopics are best when they're limited scope. I'm very tired of the greatest hits. And when I saw the movie was called Spencer, I thought the movie was just going to be then she meets him, then she gets married, then they get divorced, and then she's killed. I'll tell you at the end of the video the real reason Princess Di died. A lot of people don't talk about it, but I'm going to get to the truth. You have to wait to the end of the video to find out, if I don't forget. But this is a limited scope. It takes place in 3 or 4 days, and the entire drama, the entire suffocating nature of the monarchy, of having to live as a figurehead, the oppression and abuse of fame, it's all in this movie. It's spectacularly done. And what I like is, and this is the comment that my wife made, the Doctor and Mrs., that this is the best depiction of Princess Di anywhere. Any documentary, any novel, because it really shows her as she is. She is a tragic figure who was terribly treated, but she's also a very self-obsessed person, probably with some kind of maniacal, egocentric personality disorder. It all comes through in this highly self-centered person who at the same time is truly a victim of all these things. That complexity, that moral complexity, is very well achieved and is very interesting. The Blue Jays behind me appear to agree. Now, if you clicked on this video, you probably noticed that I'm calling this movie a Radiohead song or Radiohead album. Now, why is that? Now, there is the easy reason, right? The easy reason is that it's the score is done by Johnny Greenwood. I have not always thought that Johnny Greenwood's scores were up to his quality as a songwriter. Even There Will Be Blood, which is truly one of my favorite movies of the century, I don't think that his work on that is particularly good. But here, he really lets himself go with an amazing mixture of classical style like string quartets and jarring jazz, which is evocative of 20 years ago, you know, Kid A, Amnesia era Radiohead, without aping it. It's a great instrumental score that is able to ratchet up the tension where it needs to be. The sort of small moments of happiness are accompanied well by music. A sort of jarring sense of impending doom is really brought in by these kind of tinkling sounds, which sound like a chandelier, which sound like pearls falling, which sound like broken glass. It's an amazing feat. But about a quarter of the way through the movie, I realized something. The way Lady Di speaks, her dialogue, it's like Tom York wrote the dialogue. Just stay with me here. I mean, she speaks in these weird dystopic maxims, about the dead skin inside of her room that once belonged to Queen Victoria and is now on her brush. All these themes of disappearing. She calls herself a bug under a microscope as all the servants pick her wings off. She talks about the past and the present, talking about the future doesn't exist, and the present is just the past. Talking about how we are all currency over and over again. Dollars and cents, dollars and cents. Even the themes of the amazing usage of centering everything around the cooks and the servants who are treated with military seriousness. The opening scene, we see that it's a national security concern. The enjoyment and the quality of food and the traditions being upheld are a matter of national security, and we see that. And on the wall are basically Radiohead lyrics. Keep noise to a minimum, they can hear you. Can you not imagine, okay, some kind of classical quartet mixing into some jazz song with Tom York warbling, keep your noise to a minimum, they can hear you. So that's my little joke. But it's not really a joke. I think it's the strength of the movie. Because what is the movie about? It's about this alienation, this solitude, a sort of self-centered, self-pitying, wallowing in your own alienation. And what is that, if not the lyrics of Tom York? So it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. Don't see House of Gucci. Don't see Ghostbusters. Do see Spencer. See it on the big screen. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's exciting. Kristen Stewart is great. I don't know why people dislike Kristen Stewart. She's a great actress. She is. She's proven it over and over again. Well, just because she wasn't great when she was a teenager? No, she's really good. And what I love is if you watch interviews with her, she doesn't come across as super smart. And I like that, because I think a lot of the best actors and actresses aren't super intelligent. They just have a sort of good sense of what they're doing. And you hear her talking, and she just seems to be doing this role and really knows how to get into it. And obviously her experience with fame is quite powerful. There is a weird scene towards the end of the movie in which they all drive around listening to the song All I Need Is a Miracle by Mike and the Mechanics. And I'm being cute here, but there is a Radiohead song called All I Need. So this is the thing. I don't have a big enough audience, so I can't actually get this off the ground. But maybe someday someone will come back and watch this. Would you please make a Radiohead song out of the soundtrack of this, and then an imitation of Tom York singing Princess Di's lyrics, or even just take Princess Di's lyrics and put them through a phaser or something so they sound like Tom York. And also do a mashup of All I Need by Radiohead and All I Need Is a Miracle by Mike and the Mechanics. I think that could be kind of funny. What really killed Princess Di? Was it the paparazzi? Sort of. Was it the royal family? Sort of. It was actually poor civic engineering by the French. In a way, the French killed Princess Di. You see, in the bridge where she went, which you can go to, it's weird because at the gate of the bridge, there's a flame. It's a recreation of the flame that's on the Statue of Liberty. So it's a commemoration of the gift from the French to the Americans celebrating democracy. So there's kind of a weird thing where that's now a monument to the monarchy. Like, that's where people go. The British monarchy, the one thing that the French and the Americans have always been very united is in undermining the British monarchy. This monument to American and French democracy is now a monument to British monarchy. But still, that bridge, initially, it just had poles like this. No guardrails. So when the car hit the poles, what kills you in a car crash, the main thing that kills you, isn't the metal, the twisted metal, stuff like that. It's the change in velocity. So guardrails are essential because you hit them and then you slow down before you stop. So she went from 40 to 0, or 50, however fast she was going in that bridge. There are now guardrails in that bridge. That can never happen again. If you ever see just a pole, you ever see a telephone pole, those break very easily because of trying to get around that change of speed. I learned that in 1999. I was watching a documentary on New Year's Eve in Montreal, where it was even colder than it is right now in my own backyard. So there you go. That's what killed Princess Di. Did you see Spencer? Did you like it? Do you like this under the porch format? It's kind of neat. You just see my nose get red and my hands get cold. All right. Till next time. There's the camera.